Happy Monday. If you have off today, hi. Let's start your week off right. This is the Connectors Pulse. I am Christine Labopa. And wow, we have a powerhouse team coming to you today. I've never had two guests on, but today we're doing it. And we're going to start your week off right with some power. And we're really tying in some interesting topics. One's going to be about women's health, Dr. Amie, and then we have another who is Nicole Freels, and she is going to be talking about building your brand and your authenticity. I don't want to give too much away, so I really want to know where you are from and what are you doing on this Monday? Are you off or are you working? And if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. P.S. There might be little kids running around because they're off from school. So I just want to let you know it is going to be mom lifing to the max, but hopefully we'll have some space. Anyway, here are the two amazing duo I have for you today. Please welcome Dr. Amie and Nicole Freels. I think I said that right. I must have in my head, Freels.
Yeah, you just missed the doctor part.
Doctor. So I didn't say it. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm like, it's fine.
No, it's not fine. I'm so sorry that Dr. Nicole.
You got the last name right.
Dr.
You got the last name.
Perfect. Dr. Amie and Dr. Nicole. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Must
no
have
worries.
Just slipped the brain. Okay. So welcome. Okay. So I'm going to give y'all the floor. So Dr. Nicole, we will start with you first, and you can just let us know who you are, what you do, who you help.
Okay, perfect. So I'm a podiatrist in Lexington, Kentucky. I've been in private practice for 18 years. I'm also a certified podorthist. I do a lot of biomechanics, functional gait analysis, regenerative medicine. So I'm kind of an out-of-the-box podiatrist as opposed to doing the classic things that have been done for years, trimming toenails and calluses and things like that. Our practice is really known for just being more advanced, offering, things that are available in Miami and New York City and LA that are typically not in Kentucky. So that's my job, is I bring that in. I'm also the faculty member for a company called MedBridge Global Academy, which is essentially a platform where you can get online CME and many different areas of medicine, like everything that you can think of. And they're the ones that are really bringing all the nuanced medicine out of Germany and Australia. And so to me, I'm not just looking at what's available in the US, because honestly, we're quite antiquated medically in terms of what is available elsewhere. So that is me and what I'm about. And I'm so excited to get started and share some nuggets. But I love marketing. Marketing's my jam. So that's going to be a lot of it today.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for that. That was awesome. So Dr. Nicole, it is embedded in my brain forever now. I apologize. We're going to get through this. Okay. Dr. Amie, you have the floor.
Hey, hi, how's it going? My name is Dr. Amie Hornaman, aka the Thyroid Fixer. I'm a functional medicine practitioner and thyroid and hormone expert, and I am the CEO of a global telemedicine practice called the Advanced Thyroid and Hormone Clinic. So when I was misdiagnosed 6 different times for my hypothyroidism years and years ago, I knew at that point in time I wanted to create a practice where we could help as many people as possible, specifically women, because us women struggle the most with hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, and hormone imbalance. We're all going to go through perimenopause and menopause. So this is really where I built my clinic to be able to prescribe to all 50 states, Mexico, Puerto Rico, and parts of Canada. That's always been my passion, my mission, to serve as many people as possible, to really help them achieve that status of being the badass human that we're meant to be, because that is what I believe is in all of us, especially entrepreneurs. We want to look, feel, and perform our best. And in order to do that, you need to be optimized in your thyroid and hormones, which I know we'll talk more about today.
Oh, I love it. There's so many nuggets and questions I have. So it's all simmering. And I love how we're going to bring this all together. So Dr. Nicole is a podiatrist. Dr. Amie is a thyroid fixer, feet and thyroid. We could still make it work. This is
from head to toe. That's it. We're starting at the top, going to the bottom.
I love that. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And then we're also going to throw in marketing, because backstage, guess what? We were talking about all of the things that we were doing. And between the three of us, I think we had 3 buffet restaurants with all overflow plates of all the things that we do, right? And wow, we just took a breath. We're like, go girl first. And then whew, that's stressful, because we wear all of these hats, and I'm not saying men don't. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that we also internalize our stress differently. And I know that Dr. Nicole was also talking about marketing. So let's just bring this into the entrepreneur, right? Let's just start with that female entrepreneur. Let's just say she's an entrepreneur, but maybe she also has a full-time job doing something else, right? And could be being a doctor, let's just say, right? So from a hormonal standpoint, where does this take effect, Dr. Amie? Like when it comes to your hormones, when we are highly stressed, I know we kind of touched on it backstage, but what at a very, primitive, easy level, what happens inside our body?
It's amazing what stress does to our body. And I don't think we even realize it, especially as female entrepreneurs. I mean, you put those 2 words together, and I'm pretty sure it equals stress, right? And it equals some kind of adrenal burnout, no matter how well we take care of ourselves. We as women, we multitask and we over multitask. And then you add on the extra stress of being an entrepreneur, running a business, maybe running a family at the same time. And, we tend to put aside how we're feeling. We tend to push aside our own health, but until it's too late, until something big comes upon us or that we're dealt with. And as women, we have to be so much more in tune with what is going on in our bodies. Because when stress hits, it starts out as a whisper. You're going to get just a little bit of a few symptoms here and there, a little bit of dysregulation. Maybe you put on a couple pounds. You're holding some water. You're really fatigued and your mind isn't working the way that it used to. You're not as productive. You're not as creative. And then it slowly starts to get worse and worse. And what do? We push it aside. I don't have time to deal with that. I can't put myself first right now. I have to take care of my husband, take care of the kids, take care of the business, take care of my employees. I need to grow this thing that I'm building. But then over time, as we ignore the whisper, it becomes a scream and it gets louder and louder until those symptoms are really consuming you and taking over your life and starting to affect your marriage, your family, your confidence, your business, your bottom line. And that's where it really starts to become a problem for women, especially women entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Nicole, I know you have some things to say here. So what would you add? What would what do you think?
Well, I'm wondering, we're doing this to ourselves. Why do we choose to take on more? And it's only literally just making us more miserable. So I like to look at, so yes, it's obviously affecting all the hormones. And from a podiatric standpoint, if you're doing all of these things, or you have an injury or something that you haven't addressed, that's really affecting your day to day. You always hear, if your feet hurt, everything hurts. And so from a, inside and internal perspective, from a health standpoint, that is so connected. So if you're not active and you're not moving and you're not, getting that cardio up, it's only going to affect your hormones worse. And so I feel like we're in this like loop. We're going around and around. And then during that loop, we just keep adding more crap to our plate. So I'm thinking, why are we doing this? What's the carrot that we're trying to reach? Do we have that carrot already? Or I just want to look at the step before that. So I would love any information, Dr. Amie, that you could have that in your experience of dealing with all these women and entrepreneurs of, why do we do this to ourselves?
Well, you know what, Nicole, honestly, I think it's because number one, we're all type A. And if you've entered the world of entrepreneurship and you're running your own business and all the other things, You are absolutely a type A driver. So that's just part of your DNA. That's part of who you are, is that we want more, we want the best, we want to strive, we want the challenges. And it's funny that you asked this because I was literally just thinking this the other day. When we look at, if we step back and look at this audience, or we look at all the female entrepreneurs we know, all those female drivers, many of them, just like you referred to, Nicole, many of them are burnout. They keep putting things on top of other things and keep stacking their plate, expanding the buffet. Some women will break under that pressure. That's where you hear people, okay, they're done, they're quitting, they're backing away, they shut down their podcast, they closed their practice, they moved to Bermuda, now they're on a beach somewhere because they got so burnt out. And I literally was thinking this the other day, that I'm like, I do a lot, but I am not burnt out. I feel great. I love the challenges. I love the building and the scaling and the marketing and the planning. But I'm like, gee, why aren't I falling into that category of all these other women that are like closing shop and throwing in the towel because they're so burnt out? And I go, oh, I know. It's because my thyroid and hormones are optimized. Like, I am running, because the thyroid is the master gland and runs your entire body. It controls your response to stress, because our sex hormones like progesterone helps to calm our brain and give us good sleep. Testosterone gives us motivation and drive and brain function. Estrogen comes in and just helps make us happier and have a good libido and a non-dry vagina. Like, we need all of that, right? Because my thyroid and hormones are optimized, I am very resilient to stress. Now, we know like the big stressors can come in and push anyone off center, but the day-to-day stressors, the challenges of entrepreneurship, of running a business, I thrive on it, but it's all because my thyroid and hormones are balanced. I do this because I'm starting at the top. I'm starting with the master gland. And that really helps me deal with the stress and not be burnout. So that's what I would encourage women to do. If you're in this position, if you're running a business, if you're running a family, we got to get you optimized, because you are going to be that much better of a human being, of a boss, of a leader, of a mom, of a friend, of a wife. You're just going to up level in all areas.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That makes sense, because you're almost building up this shell. It's like a Avengers or something like that. You've got this protective barrier, and so you're prepared, mentally, physically, and really, like you said, optimizing. I am very much into biohacking with peptides and regenerative medicine options out there. And I think that in tandem with being able to optimize that particular area of your body, then, I mean, it's only going to be better. And there's so much stuff out there that we can do from a mental perspective, and everything that the hormone levels, I mean, which is critical. I'm like you. I'm 47. Probably by my late 30s, I was having major hormone issues, and I couldn't get anyone to listen. So I went to like 5 different endocrinologists, and they're all like conflicting information. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I can understand medicine. Give me the notes. I'm going to read it. I'm going to figure this out. And it wasn't until I went to a hormone-specific concierge doctor that they actually listened, and my body just started deflating. Within 3 months, it was just like you mentioned, the anti-inflammatory benefits of that. And I didn't realize how crappy I felt, how poor my focus was, as an entrepreneur. I'm just pushing along, right? This is normal. Everybody feels like this, because this is like, I've got way more on my plate than my friends, and yada, yada. But I really think that you're onto something. I know you're onto something. And I think that any woman that a doctor will not listen to, move on, because it is, for whatever reason, it is not widely talked about. I have a friend who is a concierge doctor, and he was an ER. And I said, why don't you guys run these tests? Why didn't you look at my testosterone until I had to pay someone and ask a ton of money to do it? I had to force you guys to look at my hormones, because I knew there was something going on with my adrenals. There was something not right. He said, guess what? We didn't really learn it in school. They didn't spend a lot of time on this particular subject. We don't want to test for it, because that holds us liable. And the worst part is we don't know what to do with the results.
Oh, exactly. Bingo. Oh, you nailed it.
And so,
you nailed it.
And so to me, you've got to find that person, and having a telehealth practice, brilliant. brilliant because you are there, remotely or however people do it to come in. And it's just, I wish there was more focus on this particular topic, especially for women.
I completely agree. And you just nailed it. So my rule is if a doctor says no to testing, it's time to get a new doctor. So you could literally start there. If you ask for testing that is going to give you that full picture of what is going on inside your body, what is driving the weight gain, what's driving the inflammation, what's driving the brain fog and the fatigue. If your doctor doesn't want to, or like you said, Nicole, actually that's doctors speak for, I don't know what to do with the results when they come back. If they don't order those tests for you, just move on. Because if you have to go back and beg your doctor, oh, please test my testosterone because it's not just a dude hormone, it's a female hormone too. If you have to beg your doctor for that, do you really think you're going to get the proper treatment when that test rolls back in and it's low? They're not even going to know what to do with it. So I love that point that you made, Nicole, because that's so true. And it's so important for women to know. Ironically, I just posted something on Instagram today because I'm so done hearing all of these poor women that are spending money, to your point, Nicole, spending money and trusting in all of these doctors. And some of them are even functional and integrative. They'll use that term out there. And I would love to hear what you see in your practice too. Functional and integrative that drop the ball, that they'll take their money and they don't know what they're doing with thyroid and hormones. And it's so frustrating, especially you and I are out here trying to help people. And we have other practitioners in the space doing more harm than good. So back at you, Nicole, what do you see in your practice? Because you really do practice functional podiatry. Mm-hmm. Do you get a lot of patients coming in going, yeah, well, I went to this place and I went to this place and they said they were going to do it, but not so much?
In terms of in my podiatry practice, or you're referring to, yes. I am both. The queen of fifth, sixth, seventh opinions. It is, and on the back end of your comment, before I forget, I wonder if also, so we're dealing with insurance-based appointments, right? Mm-hmm. So I wonder, hormone health is very challenging. It's a lot of tweaking. It's a lot of dose adjusting. It's a lot. And you really need to have like that partner like you that is willing to walk through the journey with you. And so my thought is we are paid to spend 7 minutes in a room with a patient. How many minutes does it take you to have this conversation and to truly figure out? So I'm wondering if it's low-hanging fruit. They're like, this is harder to get. It's harder to, number one, I'm not knowledgeable. What am I testing for? I do have to go back to school and learn all this. Or do I just kind of focus on, you just need to exercise and eat better? So I wonder also if there is something that's tied in with the financial. And then when you go to a concierge, which is where I finally ended up, and it's like, what's going on? And here's all this money. Tell me, just talk to me. I know I work out 5 days a week. I eat healthy. Why am I gaining weight? There's literally nothing you can do. I mean, outside of biohacking and optimizing your hormones.
And also standing up for yourself. Like no one's going to advocate for you more than you. So if you're going in there thinking that you're waiting for the golden nugget to fall on your plate, that's not going to happen, especially in medical. So
all the time, keep a 3-ring binder every single visit. You are your own advocate. Do not rely on all of us. When someone asks me like, oh, do my toenails look better or whatever? I'm like, oh my God, I've seen 1 billion since I saw you last. Do you think I really remember?
And it's so unique, just because someone has brain fog, that doesn't mean that their testosterone is within range, right? So maybe my testosterone range is different than your testosterone range. So you have to find out, like you have to keep going. I mean, this happened to me right before I came to Spain, and it's different in the military, right? So if you don't advocate for yourself, you will fall behind. And I am the advocator. I mean, people know my name. It's like cheers. They're like, whoop, she's back. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm not leaving without an answer. So use your type A drivenness to advocate for yourself, because it's like the adage of, okay, you need to put on your own oxygen mask before you help others, right? And we, especially as women, I remember seeing this as a mom, and I'm like, so judgy. Who would do that? Well, lady, if you're dead, you can't help your kids. Right. So I think, the thing about, you're running a marathon with no shoes. And we talked about this backstage too. And I know we have a podiatrist now, so that would really, I can imagine what you would see from that. And from a hormonal analogy standpoint, I mean, it's eye opening. And I think as being the patient that just went through this, you would be amazed on the research you should do on your own, the research where you should back up with medical professionals. I went to a functional nutritionist and a functional doctor, and I can tell you that she told me, okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to give you an example. Your house is on fire. Your bedroom's on fire. Your bathroom's on fire. Your basement's on fire. Your kitchen's on fire. You go outside and you're trying to find, where there's no fire. So your body's in this fight, flight, freeze. And it's not like we don't need stress. We need stress, but there's a difference between chronic distress and stress. So when you're under that pressure of chronic distress for a long period of time, that's when the things start to shift. Yes, we get older, but if we're not taking care of our body with the basic things like moving your body, getting sunlight, grounding yourself, and sometimes that is not what it takes too. That's why we have nutrition. That's why we have functional medicine. That's why we have doctors. But you have to find the right one, because sometimes it's not a one size fits all plan, which leads me into, we went through this first topic. Let's go right to the second topic, because we went right through that, and it's navigating menopause awareness and empowering women. But we're also going to go tie that into building your brand. So Dr. Nicole, I'd like to start with you, because you said you love marketing, and then we will segue right into Dr. Amie.
Perfect. Yeah, we were chatting before we started filming. My biggest thing is, and when I'm coaching and mentoring other doctors and stuff, and so I have my own consulting company, and so my hat of the company is the marketing portion. And it's really whenever we start, we kind of go through that journey. It's much like a doctor visit. We sit down and what is your brand? What do you want people to see? And it has to be authentic. People can see easily through anything that is simply just fake, or it's not you, because, you have to be in it. So I look at the color palettes. I look at the font. What speaks to you? I love 60s, like mid-century modern style. So I want to look at that, and I want to work in a space that reflects me, that's comfortable to my patients. I actually did something called the Disney Institute. They have it where you can go behind the scenes and learn how they did it. Because I thought, from a marketing perspective, I'm like, okay, if these people can get all of these people to spend tons of money over and over and over, and they love it and they want to do it, what is the secret? So again, going behind the scenes, they talk about the senses, the 5 senses, and how they tap into that, to the point even when you're walking in, say, Animal Kingdom, your feet touching the ground is a particular type of stone that's indigenous for that particular area. Everything is on theme, on brand. So consistency is key when you're posting, or when you're having the number on your door, or the name, whatever. It all needs to match and be cohesive. Again, with that brand palette, just stay within that. I think when I see businesses not present themselves effectively is when it's all these different colors. They don't know what they want. But I think starting and really sitting down with what you want, and then your vision, like truly creating a vision board and a strategy, is what I would definitely jump on. From the scent that when you walk in our room, it's a white tea sage. That's intentional. I researched those particular fragrances to help calm and put people at ease, because my patients are all in pain. The majority are, sports injuries. I do a ton of biomechanics. So it's all heal, pain. So I have to, okay, what can I do to calm them down? They don't even know what's happening. The lighting, you want warm light, not cool light. Maybe in the OR, you need cool light. So it just depends on, are you doing wound care, trauma, aesthetics? There's just so many different avenues that are available, even in podiatry, that most people don't know. The entire journey and the entire experience of the patient or the customer should be mapped out. Like one, they see us on social media. 2, they schedule an appointment on the website. What's the website look like? How convenient? Is that user friendly? Or what pain points? So once you create that map, then I go back and I look at every pain point. What could a potential patient or customer how am I getting them off that journey? What did I do? For example, we had a review system. We went with a new company. We were getting 30, 40 reviews a week. That was pretty standard for years. We went with a new company and we went down to 10 in a week. Nothing else changed besides this one survey system. I researched, went through, I'm like, I need to experience this as a patient. So when I went through there, I noticed there was one button that they had to click to leave a review. It's too much, one button. So we went back to the old system. Sure enough, 30 to 40 reviews come in a week now. It's just crazy. Like, you need to know, I mean, we all know our pain points, but walk through it in your patient's or your customer's experience. And then again, lay it out. It has to be drawn out. I have a massive whiteboard in my office. The entire thing is painted. So you can do like the dry erase on it. And we use, I mean, it's like 15 feet long. And we use it all the time because you need a visual. And then once you get that visual, then everybody can grab onto like, okay, I'm responsible for this pain point. What do we need to do? How do we need to flip and pivot? And having your finger on the pulse of every single interaction is ideal. I mean, it's a lot of work, but once you get it down, you get your team that believes in your brand. Anyone that's not on brand, like, for example, if you come in and you are not fitting our brand aesthetic, then it's a no-go. You know, it's something we're very particular with because it's like McDonald's. I want patients to expect the same thing every time.
Yeah, I love that you said bring on a team, because being an entrepreneur, sometimes that's really hard, especially if you are a type A person that likes to do all the things. Maybe you're a micromanager and you're like, well, if it's not, I might as well just do it myself, right? We have to kind of like let go of that. And I'm sure, Dr. Amie, you could speak to a lot of that as well. And I also love the fact how you're tying in being the patient. I know when I take on clients, I have to remember that this journey has nothing to do about me and everything to do about them. So it's not about what I've done in my life. Yes, I'll draw in my expertise or journey of things that have happened, but I have to actually put myself in their shoes. So just because you've been doing it or you know the things and you've gone to medical school and you know, but sometimes being the patient is what's most helpful, because then you'll understand really how you can serve them. So sometimes it's like, well, you know, just write me a plan. I'm like, I can't just write you a plan, because that's not a one size fits all. And this might work well for somebody, but it's not going to work well for you. And that's the beauty in helping someone one-on-one, is that you really get to help them from every facet, and it's a holistic approach. So I would say, Dr. Amie, what would you add? I mean, you're a serial entrepreneur and you are a doctor. What would you add to the branding expert when it comes to your own business?
Well, first, I want to give kudos to Nicole. Speaking on the authenticity part is key. And honestly, I don't hear many brand experts say that. And I think it's really the hallmark, the piece. I mean, it's the cornerstone of building your brand, is you have to be authentic. So I've said from the beginning, I am who I am. Who you hear on this podcast, what you hear on my podcast, when I speak on stage or when we're sitting one-on-one having coffee, will always be the same. I am bold. I am blunt. If you don't like it, I'm not the practitioner for you. Don't listen, turn me off, and flip on to somebody else that you jive with. And that's okay. And that's okay as an entrepreneur, to be in your authenticity, stand in who you are and be yourself. Because just like Nicole said, as soon as you start to try and fit a mold, or you try and make a reel like this person did over here, or do a post like this person did, it's going to come through to your audience that that's not you. And they are not resonating with this person. They're resonating with you. And you want that energy to attract the people that you ultimately want in your world. And that comes back to everything Nicole was saying about the brand and the brand colors and just being on brand. The only other thing I'll add, and it kind of ties back to the point that I said earlier, in being the jack of all trades, master of none. So whatever aspect of business you're in, now I talk about it in terms of, I see it in my world, functional and integrative practitioners who they claim they can do it all. We can fix your thyroid and your hormones and your mold and your heavy metals and your Epstein-Barr virus and your gut and your adrenals and your feet and your hair. And it's like, oh, what don't you do? Oh, nothing. We fix it all. Well, then what is your specialty? You have no specialty that you really hone in on and focus on and get really, really good at. So even in my marketing, I mean, we are thyroid and hormone experts. Do your adrenals and gut play a role? Yes, all day. But we're not standing here saying we can fix absolutely everything and you don't need another practitioner, another expert in your world at all. You need is us. No, absolutely not. We know that you need a team. So in your health, you need a team. In business, you need a team, and you need to assemble that team to fit you. You need members of that team, even your healthcare team, to be people that you relate to and that you jive with and that speaks to you. So yes, we might be your thyroid and hormone expert, but then you need Nicole for your podiatry, and you need somebody who specializes in, I don't even know, your Alzheimer's and brain function, if you have that in your family, and you need somebody else that dives deep into just your genetics and unpacks all of that. You need to assemble your team to get you to that next level. And again, that applies to health and business.
Yeah, it definitely does. And, I think this is a great way to segue. My team and I are actually planning a retreat. And you met Jesse backstage, and we're talking about health and wellness. And we're also talking about how you can build your brand and presence on LinkedIn. So I love that we have two experts that are saying the exact same thing, because it's a take home message. And it's going to be October 24th to the 27th. We are going to be talking about health and wellness in an intimate setting. We have workouts, we have meal prepping. We also have takeaways and workshops on creating content, but finding who you are and who you truly want to talk to. You can't talk to everybody. And I love how Dr. Amie said, you just because someone did a reel this way doesn't mean that you should do it this way, because you really have to know who you're talking to. And back to what Dr. Nicole said, finding out what their pain points are. But imagine doing it in a really cool setting where everyone comes together and we all hype each other up. So if you haven't joined by now, it's retreat.reveting.com. We would love to have you, and Dr. Nicole and Dr. Amie, if you're available, we'd love to have you there too. But which leads me to the next topic of, okay, so you're an entrepreneur and you have all these things on your plate and you're building your team. If your hormones, or if you're feeling pain, because Dr. Nicole, like you said, you deal a lot of people with pain. How is that going to come out through your brand? How are you really going to really say your true self if you're having this kind of, I like to think of it as like this plexiglass in front of you. You're trying to talk to people, but you can't, because you have either dysfunctional hormones, more pain, or hey, both. So I would love to hear maybe a one thing that, let's focus on one thing that you can take home from what you're talking about when it comes to entrepreneur and branding. What's that one thing that you think, and I know there's more than one, but if you can just really, like, a gift, a nugget that you can give the audience.
For me, the ace up my sleeve is I have taken a lot of body language courses online, and learning how to, these nonverbal cues. What are they saying, but they're not? Number one, for efficiency, from an entrepreneur standpoint, I want to know, what are they thinking, right? Especially when you're dealing with negotiations and business and whatnot. But from a patient standpoint, how can I effectively communicate with them? So there are different, like, little tips that you can do. If someone is coming in very heightened and aggressive, and they've got that just kind of like their body's vibrating. Your job is to then sit back, lower your tone, slow down the conversation, and then that patient will then mimic you. And so now you're able to communicate together. So that's just one example, but body language courses online can be used every day, all day. You're at the grocery store, I'm talking to my niece. It makes my life so much easier. And also knowing your strengths. What are you good at? Like, I really am an intuitive person, that I've been tested to be intuitive. So I'm already kind of, looking at that angle and how to just make it effective. Again, it was a pain point for me, because they're coming in, they're crying. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to cry with you, but I know you need it. Yeah. So what can I do to mitigate that from happening on the front end? So body language courses all day long.
Validating their pain, but also I'm here to help. Like, yes, get it out, but like, we need to
bring them down.
Yeah, move on. And when someone's in that vibration,
and then give them hope. You know what I mean? Let's go through this together. And then, okay, we're going to go down the hill and then we're going to get our game plan. And I got a team around you. Don't worry. I do this all day long. I tell my patients all the time, I'm like, you're not that special. This is my day job.
Yeah.
You're not that special, because guess what? Everyone's going through it. Everyone has some capacity. So this is reality. Now we're going to let's get a strategy and we're going to go up. And this is the expected timeline. This is exactly what we're going to do. This is what you're responsible for. And you're going to be 95% better when I see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah. You have the homework and you have an outcome. And I love an outcome.
I put it on them.
You tell a type A person to have a strategy and an outcome, sign me up.
I know, right? And those are my patients. I love them.
Yeah. And it's great that you're able to kind of like hone that in and take where they are, but where they want to be. And Dr. Amie, what kind of nugget gift would you give? I know hormones is kind of like it's all encompassing, right? So I know this one thing is probably hard, but what would you give?
Okay. So first of all, I love the fact that you brought Dr. Nicole and I together. We're so much alike and we don't even know each other. And as she's talking, I'm like nodding at the back. I'm like, yes, preach. Yes. I love it because it's interesting that we do different things, but we practice the same way. It's the same thing about giving people hope, telling them they're not that special, because I get that too. It's like, oh, I'm such a tough case. I'm going to be your hardest case. I'm like, no, we're going to see another one of you in about 5 minutes. It's like we see it all the time. Everybody has the same set of symptoms to varying degree. So I love what you said. I had to comment on that. Okay. So to answer your question, I'm going to say something that I have not yet said on any other interview. When I get asked this question, normally you want to give somebody something that they can do. Like I could sit here all day and say, get better sleep. Of course. We know that. We know that as entrepreneurs. We know that we need better sleep, ladies. Let's face it. It's the discipline. It's the blue light blocking glasses. It's the shutting off the damn computer because you want to work until 10 p.m. I could say that, and that would be the good take home, and everybody's going to roll their eyes and go, yeah, I've heard this 10 times before. So what I'm going to say is the brutal, honest truth on here. There's nothing that you can do lifestyle-wise that is going to rebuild your hormones as you age, because none of us are aging like Benjamin Button. We are all going to lose our hormones. I don't care how much sleep, nutrition, meditation, sunlight, grounding, HBOT, cold plunges, PMF mats, EMF blocking device. I don't care what you do biohacking wise. You are going to lose your hormones, and hormones give us life. Now, not everyone's going to come down with a thyroid condition. I do use the term thyropause. And the definition of that is when your thyroid gland craps the bed after the age of 40 due to fluctuating hormones. I would say about 80 to 90% of women get hit with thyropause, where we have to look at their thyroid, the master gland. But 100% of us are going to go through perimenopause and menopause and lose our hormones. If you don't replace those, you will always be at a deficit. You will always be less productive. You'll be less focused. You will have body composition changes, skin changes, aesthetic changes, internal changes. You'll be more prone to osteoporosis, heart disease, heart attack, Alzheimer's, dementia, breast cancer, type 2 diabetes. All of those diseases will become more prominent if you don't get your hormones balanced. So yes, I'm being completely honest and saying you have to get your hormones optimized.
Yeah, I love that. I would say take that and doing the things proactively, because listen, we all age, right? I know I'm not going to go down without a fight. So I know that I'm going to mentally prepare myself, whether it's weight training, whatever your thing is, but taking care of yourself along with the team, along with, that, it's like you're pregnant, right? You're going to have a baby. That is the outcome. You're aging. That your hormones are going to decline. That is an outcome. So why not help the outcome with our foundational stuff, but then we add in the other things with our foundational things? Because like, if you don't, even if you replace your hormones and you have a trashy diet, then how is that going to like help? Or you don't move, right? You can still replace the hormones, but if your habits don't change, then how is that? What are we doing, right? So are we prolonging the process? So I think that that's a perfect way to say it, is like adding in, like Start with your health and wellness. That is your foundation. Think about the things that you can do every day that make you feel good. If you start noticing things that are shifting, go to a doctor. And if that doctor doesn't say, hey, I can help you, then find someone else, right? I know if a patient comes to me and they're like, I want to run a marathon in two months, I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm not your coach, but I know somebody that can help you do that.
I tell them I'm not a miracle worker. Like, you should have came to me 2 years
or
ago.
I want to lose 20 pounds in a month. Okay, well, I'm not going to subscribe to that because it's not healthy and I'm just not going to do that. So I'm sorry, like, thank you for your time, but I'm not taking your money because that's not ethical for me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's coming together to figure out like what are your bottom lines? And guess what? We could all be busy, but priority management and time management are definitely not the same thing. So if we keep adding busy, are we really deflecting from something else going on in our life? That's also a thing there. And that's where the mental health comes into the social emotional health. So much to cover. Dr. Nicole, I think you had something to say.
Yeah, I was thinking like if I could go back now, because I really started having hormone issues at, 18, the birth control and all of that. It just kind of really threw my system out because I have a couple genetic diseases I was unaware of. And it was just kind of going in, again, I was in this loop. So if I could go back, I would love to have a baseline of my entire lab history. I literally created an Excel spreadsheet of 15 years of labs that I could find from all over. I'm studying here, I'm going to residency here. So I'm at all these hospitals. But if I could get someone or, have that number and watch the graph, my hormones, this is where I was in my life. I was in residency, so my hormones were probably here.
Trash.
And then, this, and it's just kind of like this, but to see that in a one-shot graph, I mean, for the younger people out there, I would give anything to have all that number because I could have optimized, 25, 30, when things were really starting to spiral. I can be like, oh, this is where I was at 20. This is where I am now. Boom. It just makes it so much easier. So,
and I love that you brought up the high stress careers, right? So, I mean, that is a nutshell. My husband's in the military and he has a high stress career, right? He goes through times where he's on a ship for 6 months at a time, right? And he doesn't sleep and he's in charge and all those things, right? But at the same time, like I'm dealing from a different perspective of stress. So do we come together and be like, a sword fight of like, my stress is worse than your stress? Or do you like come together and be like, I'm never going to really understand what you're going through. You're probably not going to understand what I'm going through, but we can come together because guess what? If we're both in the middle of a wave of a car hitting us, the stress doesn't matter because our car is hitting us, right? And our symptoms are going to be different, but the car's still hitting us. So that's kind of like science where that comes into, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that, bringing it all together, I think that's an amazing thing to say. If I knew, and I think that if you look at studies, they're saying that Generation Alpha, which is what my children that are 4 and 7 are in, they're going to be the healthiest generation to come because of what you're talking about, right? And because they're more inquisitive and because we have more technology and because of people like you, Dr. Nicole, and like you, Dr. Amie, that are really saying like, hey, just listen to me for a minute. Like we got something to say and please hear us. And I think our generation, I'm going to be 45 next year. We're starting to listen a little bit more because we're like, hey, I don't know why I didn't really learn about my period. And I just was taught that it was like really annoying and gross, but it's kind of like the blueprint for my life. So I'm just going to learn about my hormones now when I'm in my middle of my 40s and the shit hit the fan. So like, again, it's that reactive society that we live in, but we can create the change, like we can wash, rinse, repeat, or we can plant the seed for the next one. And that next person could be your patient, your family, your friend, your niece, your nephew, whatever, like leaving it better for the next person. Like, hey, I figured this out. I really think that you should make a spreadsheet because that would be incredible. Or, hey, have an app of that, like all the technology that we have.
That's my age there. I'm like, yeah, an Excel spreadsheet, not an app. I'm sure there's an app that exists that would have made my life much easier.
Apparently AI can do everything, and I cannot use the word game-changing or anything like that. It's in a tombstone. I cannot use an M-dash. I will be crucified. So like, it's, but I think when you take the thing about AI, right, it's there to enhance what you're doing, not take over what you're doing. And both of you are enhancing lives, not taking over lives, right? Because I think, Dr. Nicole, to your point, if you're in pain and you give people a protocol and they're not doing their homework,
I love the onus. I put the onus on every single patient. I'm like, I hold them accountable. And if they come in and like, well, they're skeptical. You can just tell them like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, well, we can do it your way the first month.
Yeah.
Or we can, I'll be here next month. So when you come back, if you're not better, at least you know why.
Right.
At least you know why you're not better, because we're going to go on your treatment plan. And I'm very verbal at that.
Yeah.
You tell me that you don't want to do it, then why are
you? You put it back on them and be like, okay, so I'm the doctor and you're
I don't need to do that.
Like, for you.
Hey, it's your pain. I'm not in pain.
Yeah.
You are. Do you want my advice or not? And
Right.
if you don't, cool. We are speaking the same language.
And habits are the hardest to change, right? Especially when you come to a type A woman. We are really good at believing our own truth. It might not be the truth, but we believe our own truth. And I coach a lot of type A high performing women. They're like, oh, it must be so easy. People just do it. I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Changing habits is really hard, but also in the minute they feel like they are not accomplished, they feel fear, they feel something, they either run or they jump off the top of the Empire State Building with no parachute, right? Because it's the all or nothing, the thought process behind that, right? But I feel like that could be another topic for another day. So, which can bring us right home into our third topic. I feel like we could talk for hours here, but what is our third topic is balancing hormones and thriving through life transitions. I'm going to start with Dr. Amie, but Dr. Nicole, you can take it home.
Okay. So we've kind of talked about this, about how important it is to balance our hormones and then life transitions. I think that's interesting because it depends where a woman is in her world, right? So Christine, you have 2 young kids. There might be women listening that are newly empty nesters, and that brings on a whole other stress. Husbands are retiring and staying at home where we're like, no, get out. That's another stress. And then just even building and scaling through the years. It's funny that I often think back to when my business was smaller, I actually had more time for myself. I would get in 7 days of working out. How did that ever happen? So as life transitions, we have to start adjusting the way that we care for ourselves and those foundational core principles, like you mentioned earlier, Christine, about, yes, you need to sleep and you need to build a good nutrition plan. You can't be putting garbage in and then put hormones on top and expect it to work well. You can't expect that machine to work well when you're fueling it with cheap gas, right? It's just not going to run properly. So we need the foundation, then we need the hormones on top of it. And then we need to be cognizant enough to step back and adjust even our own lifestyle to fit those life transitions, to continue taking care of ourselves despite the different changes that may occur. On top of that, aging parents, the death of our parents. I mean, all of those are continued stressors that we're all going to deal with at one point in time or another. And that's really where, again, coming back to what I said in the beginning, let's build that core strength. Let's build up that stress resilience. Let's get your thyroid optimized, your hormones optimized. Let's balance your blood sugar. Make sure you're not running around with elevated cortisol and elevated glucose that's just going to produce more inflammation and exacerbate your symptoms. Let's give you enough energy and motivation to get through the day so that you can tackle those stressors and then push them aside and continue taking care of yourself and continue reaching all of the goals that you have for your life and for your business. But balancing hormones, I keep saying it over and over again, it really is the key. And when I say hormones, I throw thyroid in there as well. We throw insulin in there as well. It's not just estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. It's everything. It's cortisol, it's insulin. It's all of the hormones that give us life, because that's essentially what hormones are. They're chemical messengers to tell our body to do something, to tell our body to burn this fat or build this muscle or produce more energy in the body, to produce enough melatonin to get us to go to sleep. Those hormones literally run our machine. They run our body and they give us life. So if, again, what I said in the beginning, if we don't listen to the whispers, our body will start to scream. And then we have a whole other set of issues that we're dealing with. And just like Nicole said, like, I wish I would have seen you 2 years ago, right? Come listen to your body when it starts to whisper, so that we're not dealing with a boatload of issues that we have to unravel. Now, that being said, if you are, 5-10 years into menopause, and you're like, yeah, this was really speaking to me, I haven't been taking care of myself and I really need to, it is never too late. All of the symptoms that you have, whether it is weight gain or pain or brain fog or fatigue, I call those symptoms gifts, 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 given to you by your body to just nudge you to say, hey, your body's not supposed to be feeling XYZ. So this might be a time to look a little bit deeper and figure out what is causing that symptom. What is driving your body to feel that way or to produce this symptom? And if you stop and you listen, you pay attention to that and you go, yeah, you know what? This symptom sucks, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it and I'm going to figure out the why and I'm going to reverse it. It can absolutely be done. So listen to your body. Your symptoms are gifts. Have hope that it can change, because your entire life, I mean, this is not BS whatsoever. Your entire life can get better, from relationships to business to how you look, feel, and perform, when you really focus and balance your hormones.
I love that. And I love that you brought up blood sugar, because I drive that home so many times. And, it's been, I'm going to use ChatGPT. It's been a game changer, especially in my 40s. I've been bouncing my blood sugar using that method for 2 decades now. And I'm telling you, once you hit that pause where like something, or am I insulin resistant, and like what's going on here, and it's all related. It's all connected to each other. And once you can find out, and it's not hard, and it's not just for people with diabetes, and it's not just to people that are pre-diabetic, like, let's be proactive and start learning how to balance our blood sugar. It is a professional advantage, from your EQ all the way down to your mood, right? Like your energy, all of that. So thank you for bringing all that up. Dr. Nicole, you got the floor. Oh, are you on mute? Yes, you're on mute.
I advise my patients to really keep a journal day to day, because I need to know, it's like a puzzle. And the more pieces of the puzzle that you give to us, the better we are at our job, the quicker we get to our, suggestions and solutions and treatment options. So every day, what has triggered it? And a lot of people say, I woke up like this. I'm like, okay, what did you do 24 hours or even 48 hours prior to your pain coming up? Oh, new shoes. And so it just, again, keep that day to day. And then it's really easy to figure out and get you back on track and get you reduce the pain. And a lot of people, I don't know what it is, but when you have pain in your feet, we're going to walk through it. It's going to go away. It's completely different from any other body part. If you have an earache, oh my God, what is happening? My ear hurts. If you're limping around for months, there's something going on with your foot. And the problem is, and much like hormonal issues, the more that you are pushing through to take care of the kids, go to work, do this, because it's a weight bearing area, those problems just compound. So you've got heel pain here. Now you've got left knee pain, right hip, and it just goes like this, because like with the hormones, it's all connected. And it's different from your shoulder because you're standing on it all day, or you're walking, or doing whatever. I mean, even in the house, I tell people, do not understand that it's really important to wear shoes in the house. My golden rule is, if you're standing on your feet for over 20 minutes, cooking, cleaning, laundry, it doesn't matter. Your foot does not know that it's on your hardwood floors in the house, or maybe at the office on concrete. It has no idea. So it doesn't matter where you are. So from a foot protection standpoint, from preventative, it's so easy. These little things that you can do to make a massive impact in prevention of being able to wear those high heels on the weekend. I always say it's the right shoe for the right occasion. So if you want to wear your high heels on Saturday night, then why don't we wear tennis shoes when you're standing and teaching all day for the next, 9 hours? Wear some tennis shoes. Makes sense, right? Yeah. So I always tell my patients, I keep a pair of tennis shoes in my car. So if I have a dressier shoe on at work and I go to Costco on the way home or something, it's those heavy, hard pounding times that really add up. I look at it like a bucket, trigger, 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 trigger. And just like the hormone stuff, right? It's going to overflow. And that's typically when people reach their pain breaking point. And then it's going to take them sometimes months to get better because they put it off for so long. A lot of people say, you know, I've never had, I've ran for 20 years. I've never had any pain. And that's what they hold on to. And then my response is, I didn't have wrinkles 20 years ago either. You know, we got to be realistic with our expectations, you know, and some people are just live in the clouds that, again, we're miracle workers. You're going to New Zealand in 2 weeks and you've been limping for 20 years. Really? Do you really think this is, I've got this magic pill that I can give you? So walking through the pain is a big one, and just avoiding that from a podiatry standpoint. Dr. Amie, I was curious about, you're talking about the biohacking, hormones, all of that. Are you into peptides yet? Are you guys using peptides to biohack the hormones? Because we're doing it in the foot.
Oh, nice. I love peptides. Love peptides. Yes.
NAD
So I'm
plus.
glad that you're doing those in the foot. What's that?
It's NAD plus. Will you do it systemically? We can do local injections. I'm actually having them infused. I have my own foot care line. It's called Modern Podiatrist. So yeah, we're going to be infusing peptides into some of our foot creams and foot products.
I think it's just the enhancement, right? You're doing the foundational things and you're enhancing what you're doing. It's not taking the place of, right?
Yep.
So I think that's wonderful. I'm a huge believer in, like, if a peptide works and you're willing to do it and doing it the right way with the foundational things, then do the thing, right? There's no judgment here. I think it's amazing. Also, I wish that Dr. Nicole, you were on the ship with my husband and his sailors, because they have to wear steel-toed boots all the time for hours on end. And you can imagine some of the pain. And I deal with people that deal with back pain, because most of my people sit, right? And I said, it's a trickle down effect, right? Your whole posterior chain, guess what? It's going to end up in your feet. And even if your form is off with your squat, that can mess up how you're sitting. That can also mess up your core. Is your core strong? If your core is weak, all of your movements are going to be weak with that too. So I loved how we just are bringing it all home. Okay, ladies, this was a power-packed conversation. And I hope that Dr. Nicole and Dr. Amie, do you guys talk offline? Because I feel like y'all are amazing together. So I'm so glad that we can bring both of you together to talk about what you would think like two totally different worlds, but actually we are all human and we are going to find some connectivity and common ground. This is the Connectors Pulse. So Dr. Nicole, can you have, you said that you something launching, but where can we find you? What are you launching? How can we get in touch with you?
Launching, I'm just continuing to build the foot care line as well as the practice at this point. We do have the consulting company for many different reasons, medically driven. But outside of that, you can find me I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube is my big one. It's Lexington Podiatry is the practice name. But I do a lot of tips and tricks on Instagram. I'm in my closet showing you my shoes. If you have a bunion, avoid this. If you have heel pain, you'll love this, high arch, all of that. So pretty much any and every, like from a fashion standpoint for shoe gear, getting, cute shoes in our closets to anything from foot care health, just in general. So you can follow me. I'm everywhere. TikTok, you name it.
Love it. All right, Dr. Amie, how about you? Where can we find you? What do you have launching? Tell us all the things.
Yeah, no. So like I said earlier, we do prescribe to all 50 states via telehealth, and Canada, Puerto Rico, Mexico. Yes, got them all straight. So you can find me at dramie.com, DRAMIE.com. On there, if you are interested in just learning more about how we can help you, you can book a free call. There's no obligation. You're just going to talk to my team. They're going to go through what you've done, what you haven't done, what you've tried, what your frustrations are. And we're going to really meet you where you're at to build a program that's going to fit for you. And then you can also find me on the Thyroid Fixer podcast. We have 560 some episodes on there where you can dive so much deeper into thyroid and hormones and all things health related, insulin, blood sugar, the peptides, all that fun stuff. And then, of course, on all of the platforms, Instagram at Dr. Amie Hornaman, same with YouTube. And we also have the Fixer supplement line. That's at betterlifedoctor.com. And that's the whole supplement line that I curated through what I see in my practice. from the low metabolism, the weight gain, the lack of T2, the forgotten thyroid hormone, low testosterone in women, especially if you're not quite ready to go the hormone route, you're not ready to go the functional medicine route, you can at least plug in supplements that absolutely move the needle and that move your metabolism and that move that testosterone up a little bit naturally. So both sides of the business, you can find me, and feel free, anybody listening, to DM me on Instagram. I'm in there looking at those all day. So I'd be happy to help you.
Both people, I'm assuming both you work with men and women, or is it just primarily women?
Men and women. You know, with the guys, they're slower to take care of themselves. It's usually the women that are pulling their men into the practice, saying, honey, come on, you can't ignore this anymore. But yes, we absolutely do thyroid and testosterone replacement for guys and peptides, the whole deal.
Awesome. All right. And I'm assuming, Dr. Nicole, there's no gender.
No, not at all. I mean, my demographic is you guys, women and men that want to perform optimally and really want to put in, that core strength, and how is what is their foot type, and putting it all together from a biomechanical and truly like watching you walk, a gait analysis. Like, did you realize that your right ear is a little lower and then what's going on, and that trickle down effect. So that's kind of, so anyone that kind of fits in that, but we do, children and elderly people.
I love it. I love that we all came together, and, we were talking about taglines backstage. Health and wellness is not a personal hobby. It's a professional advantage. So if you're looking to really take yourself to that next level, let's outlive your career, but also let's give your best self to your career. So thank you so much, Dr. Amie and Dr. Nicole. Thank you for joining. Can't wait to stay in touch with you. Thank you for joining the Connectors Pulse. This was amazing. And I will see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.